Bonjour, je suis chef Bogdan Alexandrescu ou Dexter de l'atelier Le Château Bucarest et ça c'est ma vision et ma recette pour la journée internationale de la francophonie. The dish I'm presenting today is a journey between the Carpathian Mountains and the Black Sea, paying homage to all the beautiful ingredients and people that Romania has to offer. Of course, that on this recipe I've applied a lot of modern cooking techniques and the French cultural cooking legacy, which I've learned during my experience being in charge of one of Paris's greatest restaurants. The recipe perfectly illustrates my neo-nostalgic vision. Neo-nostalgic refers into taking childhood memories regarding taste, applying on them different modern gastronomy techniques, and taking the past into the present without neglecting tradition and the cultural legacy that both nations, Romanian and also French, have to offer. This beautiful dish, plated in some traditional Romanian handmade pottery, starts the journey from the Carpathians by the use of the bulls, which is a traditional shepherd's polenta filled with burduf cheese, a maturated cow's cheese, continues with the creaminess of some smoked sour cream, which I've smoked with some apricot wood chips, and we're balancing this fattiness and this creaminess from the cheese and the sour cream with some spring onion oil with its tangy flavor. After that, we're gonna continue the journey through the seaside with this beautiful sturgeon fillet. The sturgeon is a protected species in Romania and in Europe, but nowadays we have many fisheries that grow eco-responsibly this beautiful fish. And of course, to highlight the beauty of this amazing fish, we're gonna use some Romanian Danube caviar on top. Now, allow me to explain you the creative process behind this amazing dish. We're gonna first start by making the polenta necessary for the bulls. In boiling water with a bit of butter and salt, we're gonna gently stir the ground corn and cook it for about 3 to 5 minutes until we get a firm but creamy polenta. We're gonna then spread the polenta on a pre-oiled tray and leave it to cool so we can form the bulls. In the meantime, we're gonna continue with the rest of the process. The beautiful sturgeon was filleted using the ikejime method, which is a Japanese method, so that's some multicultural exchange. This filleting method allows the fish to maintain its flesh firm but soft at the same time, and the aftertaste will be amazing compared to traditional filleting techniques. We're gonna cook the sturgeon fillet sous-vide at 64 degrees for 17 minutes, sous-vide being one of the friendliest and safest cooking methods because the surface of the product doesn't get a temperature shock and it allows the muscles to relax and to get a firm result. Meanwhile, we're gonna smoke the sour cream with some apricot wood chips from my grandmother's orchard. So we're gonna start by placing the wood chips into the smoking gun, and we're gonna leave the sour cream to infuse with the smoke until the fish is ready. We're gonna continue with the spring onion oil, and for that we're gonna need to blanch the spring onions for about 1 minute at 87-89 degrees, and after that we're gonna remove the spring onions and place them in some ice cold water so we can stop the cooking process. Using a high power blender, we're gonna now blend the pre-blanched spring onions with some neutral oil. This time I'm using cold pressed sunflower oil. After blending it thoroughly, we're gonna just leave it in a sieve to drain and to get all that beautiful chlorophyll and that deep green color to show itself. Now that our polenta is chilled, we're gonna soak our hands in a bit of water. We're gonna gently massage the polenta so it doesn't get super dry. We're gonna lay it on our palm and we're gonna add inside a small bowl of burduf cheese. Using our soaked hands, we're gonna shape the polenta into a perfectly round sphere. We're gonna place it on a tray, baste it with some melted butter, and we're gonna torch it. If you don't have a torch at home, you can just use your oven with the grill setting for about 2 minutes at 240 degrees. Before the sturgeon is ready, at about 2 minutes prior, we're gonna gently melt some butter in a cast iron pan with a bit of oil. This is a chef's tip. If you don't want your butter to get burnt anymore, just add a bit of oil. It doesn't matter what type of oil, and the smoking point of the butter will rise. We're gonna gently add our pre-cooked sous-vide sturgeon fillet in our pan with melting butter, and when the butter starts sizzling, we're gonna take a spoon and we're gonna baste the top of the fillet with the sizzling butter. We're gonna continue this operation for about 2-3 minutes per side, and after that we're gonna set the fish aside, sprinkle it with some sea salt, and heat it in the oven alongside the beautiful golden polenta ball. Because the sturgeon is already cooked twice, sous vide and basted in butter, we're gonna heat it for about maximum 2 minutes at 200 degrees so the juices can relax and the salt can enter its texture. For the final plating, we're gonna gently whip our smoke-infused sour cream, and we're gonna place it in the middle of the plate, making an indentation with the spoon so we can add the spring onion oil in that indentation. After adding the spring onion oil, we're gonna place the bulls on the side, and we're gonna continue with the sturgeon fillet, which has been pre-zested with some lime. Lime or citrus fruit are not traditionally found in our culture, but have been used for more than 100 years in our cuisine. And regarding the neo-nostalgic vision of my cuisine, this is what I was talking about, borrowing elements from different cultures in order to highlight the elements and the values that your culture and your country has to offer. After that, we're gonna continue our plating with some micro herbs, which are optional but give a nice fresh tanginess to the dish. We're gonna also place aside a dehydrated kohlrabi leaf, which brings some crunch and textures to this creamy creation. And at the end, we're gonna top it with a spoonful of caviar in order to further enrich this wonderful fish. That being said, I just want to add that it's a huge motive of pride and honor for me to be an ambassador for my country's culinary legacy and paying respect to the French culinary gastronomy legacy. So, poftă bună, bon appétit, enjoy your meal!